Hello, travelers. Boardman21 here, and today we had some news drop, and it's huge, with lots of news for the future of Last Epoch, lots of news about multiplayer, and we're just going to read through both developer blogs that dropped today. And just so you know, there will now be monthly updates to the future of Last Epoch and multiplayer, which means that we're going to be able to get a lot more info a lot faster. We're not going to go months or patches without info, but let's just dive right into it and see all the good stuff that's just been shown to us. So, in the first, I'll have both of these linked in the description below. In the first post, we have Road to 1.0 July 2021 development update. This one was posted by Judd, and he says, "Hello travelers, I hope you've been enjoying your adventures through Time in Edera and the recent additions to Endgame. As we progress through the early access phase of Last Epoch, which will lead to the 1.0 kickoff patch, we are preparing the company to support the live service model and bring you awesome content for years to come. I'd like to give you some insight info into what's going on behind the scenes and answer some common questions we've been seeing as we progress towards 1.0. 11th Hour Games growth. The Last Epoch team at 11th Hour Games is growing and evolving quickly, significantly more quickly than we thought possible. Not even 4 years ago, only a small number of us were developing Last Epoch as an after-hours passion project with zero funds and zero full-time team members. We are now a dedicated team of over 50 ARPG enthusiasts that cover the full spectrum of a great development team. Our team is spread remotely across the world, rallying to make this underdog studio a name for itself through the development of Last Epoch. Going from an after-hours project to a team of this size has been a major exercise in changing the tires while bearing down the highway. But what has been an extremely enjoyable challenge, our amazing community has enabled this growth by supporting Last Epoch during early access through purchasing supporter packs, spreading the word, and consistently interacting with us and providing feedback. We cannot thank you enough, and you guys know the community has been huge." As we scroll down a little bit, you can see some of the early days versus now. It's showing you some of the UI differences. I'll let that play as I read the next section. You can see there have been massive changes in the last few years. If you are a die-hard ARPG fan and would like to join the team at 11th Hour Games, we recently launched a careers page on the Last Epoch website. We're looking for a few more talented individuals to help us in our march up to the large upcoming multiplayer and 1.0 releases. As we scroll down a bit further, gearing up to be a live service game. We are creating Last Epoch to be a game that is continuously updated with large swaths of content for many years to come. We'll be adding cycles, known as seasons or leagues, economy, and leaderboard to resets, races, and other regular scheduled events in addition to large content additions. To execute this properly, we have put a large focus on the CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline, which will be key to ensuring that releases are stable and can better prevent risks that come with scaling concurrent to users. You may have noticed the speed at which we distributed hotfixes in the 8.2 patch cycle. This was somewhat of a test to see how quickly, reliably, and safely we could integrate and deploy updates to the game without our tooling or processes breaking down. The good news is that we can now distribute updates quickly, which will help us stay agile and responsive for years to come. It is also a major boon to our multiplayer development since it allows us to deploy server and client builds much faster, which will significantly decrease iteration and testing times. Now the big question, multiplayer when? We all know you want more information about multiplayer, system specifics, and a release date to put on the calendar. While I can't give you a specific date, I can give you the information I do have. Going forward, we will be more transparent and communicative on the specifics and keep you up to date on all the great progress that is being made. Currently, as of this post, 7/20/21, we have team members playing multiplayer daily and a full multiplayer team test every Friday. Gameplay is feeling smooth and mostly lag-free, with up to 4 players in a party. Core party systems have been developed, most systems are networked appropriately, and server authoritative. Servers are spinning up, allocating, deallocating, and spinning down appropriately. Getting to this point has the team very excited and hungry to rapidly improve it and to get it into our hands. While we're very happy with the progress, there is still plenty of bugs to squash, more multiplayer specific features to implement, balance changes, and then scale testing to perform. We have no visible roadblocks and are making steady progress. We are also now working with some senior talent that have also worked on systems like BattleNet for Blizzard Entertainment and games like League of Legends. I cannot overstate how important it is for EHG that multiplayer is to be executed correctly. A bad initial multiplayer experience can harm the game for all players and jeopardize the success and reputation of the studio long term. We've seen this before. Much more than holding it until it's ready, we want multiplayer to be enjoyable when we first release it without confusion or game-breaking bugs. Even in early access, several games with many more resources have failed to stick the landing on multiplayer, so we're making sure to learn everything we can from those mistakes and to not repeat them. While we still may make some mistakes, we'll be able to react and iterate on them quickly. To provide more insight into how multiplayer is developing today, we are pushing out our first monthly multiplayer development post to keep you informed on how we're progressing in a new FAQ to answer common questions regarding multiplayer systems and their development. And then there's a couple of links, these will be in the description below. We are very confident, excited, and busy as heck in our quest to bring multiplayer to the game because getting it right is more important than getting it now. The release date for multiplayer is ready when it's ready. With the transparency we'll be providing when it's ready, won't be a completely nebulous time frame. Performance and optimization. Improving the performance of the game client has been and will continue to be one of the top priorities as we approach 1.0. If you have played Last Epoch in the last year, you will have noted significant improvements to client-side performance. Our recent efforts in this area have focused on optimizing lighting in levels, churning, ability visual effects, and pulling object instances. We have much more planned for the future, especially as we revisit some of our older content to bring it up to par. And we know about the reworks coming to the Sentinel, the Acolyte, the Primalist, probably the Mage, everything being updated that's old. As we move towards our multiplayer release, the optimization work will grow to encompass server-side performance to ensure everyone has the best online experience we can provide. And then below you'll see a screenshot that they have of some average frame rates in different maps in through the different patches. As you can see from the patches, it has been a very, very steady improvement. And then as we scroll down, we have the roadmap format update. One of the major benefits of developing Last Epoch through an early access program is that we are constantly receiving feedback from the players that love the genre the most. This results in a lot of great feedback, ideas, and much more time spent iterating during development, which is hard to account for upfront, but well worth the time investment. This is also makes a traditional roadmap quite challenging to adhere to and can leave people confused, disappointed, or pleasantly surprised since it's a set of continually evolving targets. None of those are feelings a forecast roadmap should aim to invoke. We think we can improve that format of the forecast to better serve you while maintaining our ability to be flexible, agile, and responsive. In order to address these issues, we're changing the forecast so it's focused on what's coming next in more detail while leaving future content priorities flexible. This is much more reflective of how our fast-paced development and design process works internally, which will make it a better communicational tool between us and you. The plan for upcoming features is largely the same, though some may evolve, be replaced, added, or come after 1.0. Most features will want to be implemented after the initial 1.0 patch are not shown in the graphic. With that said, for the first time you'd like to share with us the much earlier than normal what we developed for the next patch in the new format. And if you go down below, you'll see in this that we have what's coming in 8.3. This is what's confirmed to be coming, and then what's confirmed to be coming after 8.3. So you can see we have Necromancer skill updates, Void Knight skill updates, Monolith of Fate improvements, new Sentinel skills, 25 new unique items, and new Primalist model. That's not the transformations, that's the Primalist himself. And then after 8.3, you can see in the future, we will have Druid Transform reworks, Lost Memories, reworked content, chapters 10 through 12, multiplayer testing, dungeons, endgame systems, legendary items, Eternity Cache, performance improvements, Ruin Master, Warlock, Falconer, item trading, favor system, endgame system, Epoch's Call, and up above I forgot to mention chapter 9, the big thing, with 20 plus new enemies, new bosses, and new zones. And then as we scroll down just to end it, we'll be sharing more information and teasers on the upcoming patch through our social media channels, so make sure to follow along. Again, sincerely want to thank you all for the amazing opportunities you've provided to the teams and me, Judd. We're working hard to make Last Epoch a game that you would want to come back for many years to come. And then their social platforms, they've got Discord, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube. All right, and then jumping over to the multiplayer progress update for July. This is the new format. This is the once a month update that we'll get. So we're just going to read through it and show what we have on this. You can also see the new multiplayer FAQ with this link. Again, all these links will be in the description below. This one's going to be where you can answer and ask questions. Hello, travelers, and welcome to the first multiplayer monthly update. I'm very excited to say that we're now at a point that we are going to be able to keep all of you more in a loop with regards to multiplayer development, where before we've often relied on informal conversations through in-game chat, forum comments, Reddit replies. We are now going to make able to produce regular updates once a month. I will use these posts to keep you up to date with not only our current status, but what's coming next, what risk we currently have, and more. The first post will likely be a bit longer than following updates, as I will spend more time providing a breakdown of what Judd spoke about in the roadmap to 1.0 post, which is what we just read through. So let's get right down to it. The current multiplayer progress. Playing online. You can log in, be allocated servers for your play session, and have a continuous online experience all day without interruption. The user account system we've had since the early days was built to eventually support our party play and has been powering our in-game chat for some time. Our Q&A team is playing Last Epoch multiplayer every single day together. For gameplay, we put a lot of upfront effort into building tools that enabled us to convert our current campaign, endgame, and quest into being multiplayer friendly. We're happy to say we're making very quick progress here, and you should see most of the game represented right away in the first multiplayer test. Your spells work online and are fully server authoritative. We have our baseline desync compensation system in place, and it works well. This one is very exciting to me since it's so important for making moment-to-moment gameplay feel responsive. Nobody wants lag. There is a lot to tune in this system, and it will continue to receive updates and improvements. For your online inventory, your inventory works online and saves to your online character, with stashes being a separate global inventory as you'd expect. Loot drops are already instants. You can store items in your stash and use them across online characters. Items are granting you their stats for the most part, gold drops, and you store it in a server authoritative manner. And what that means when they say for the most part, it means most of the items are working online. There's obviously some bugs still going on. I would expect them to, continue to work through that. And by the time it's released to us, I would assume almost all items, if not every item stat, would be better. Hopefully, it also eradicates snapshotting, as most of you know, is currently something that's a part of Last Epoch. Server authority. Of all of the features you would expect to be stored and saved online, now do so. These are features such as character saves, stashes, and quests. Your party's data is all controlled by the server. Characters are protected for manipulation, accessible anywhere you log in, and this security paves the way for us to create competitive content like cycles or seasons and races. Both players' abilities and monster abilities are fully communicate through the server. Player positions are mostly authoritative, with some or the rest in progress. Playing online. We need to solidify a strong queue system for login on a wider release. We're optimizing our server size to reduce as much overhead as possible. We're working on ensuring a stable experience receiving servers at scale. We need to continue to test our matchmaker, that is the tool that gives you a session when you're playing Last Epoch online. Our party system will need updates as we proceed through beta, ensuring we have good tools in place to monitor and track any problems so that we can respond as quickly as we have during single player releases. This one is quite tricky, but very important to use. These features on top of server authority are the most challenging features to prepare. For gameplay, we are using the tools to finish preparing chapters, monsters, and endgame to work in a multiplayer format. You're super confident in this process. We need to continue to tune a few ability types in multiplayer, such as movement abilities, channeled abilities, and how they feel online. The same goes for monster abilities. Bosses take more work than your average monster. Skill trees need numerous polished passes to make sure that all the particular interesting nodes work as intended. Our skill trees are quite a bit of content, and there are a lot of skills, well over 100 of them. A need for server authoritative quests states initially slowed down our progress on adding content, as we needed a way to change the state of zones you are in while you are in a party. This is now all functional, but there's a lot of polished work to be done here. We are working on being able to waypoint to locations so it's easier to play together. Items. While many unique items work, others have custom properties that will have to be implemented and tested. Some of our tooling works for this, but a breadth of it will be custom work until we catch up to all the items. Idle stats are similar, not fully implemented, but your idle slots unlock during the campaign, and the idols themselves are droppable. Crafting has a lot of its code ready, but we need to ensure crafting logic is server authoritative and it will be usable. There is no trading at the moment. We have the code behind our item system to do this. We just need some additional work to make it happen. Server authority. Making sure the player's position is fully authoritative. Right now it is only partially so, but we need to ensure we have the correct logic in place for rollback. We need to keep pushing hard on testing the ability to exploit or have saving loading errors with your character's data, so we never see any issues like a disappearing stash or an item that didn't save. We have to keep churning our decent compensation system so the game feels good as possible at a high ping. Right now you can have up to a 200 ping before having a questionable experience. We also finishing up our position authority system, but it's not one of this month's goals. On a whole, this is some of the most complicated and long-term work. Scaling these services and keeping them secure with minimum chance for error is critical before moving into a wider multiplayer release. And then what are the goals for July? Ensuring our content up to reaching end of time is polished and easy to play. A major system we are to begin on is waypointing, so players can play together more easily. Debugging our party system to ensure play is as smooth as possible. The last 20% is the trickiest. Planning for earlier access to one of our endgame systems in order to extend multiplayer to make it viable for wider testing. Collecting data, we need to not only be able to monitor and track player activity to help inform good decisions, we need to be able to monitor all of our front-end and back-end systems if we want to provide you with a high-quality experience like other ARPGs. Optimizing our server size in order to save cost, and this comes in two major forms: server optimization and netcode optimization. We are profiling our server to reduce its size online in order to allow us to put more servers on a single machine. We are optimizing our netcode to significantly reduce the size of the data we need to send between the server and clients, as well as to optimize our gameplay code to reduce the amount of computations we send to the server in the first place. Getting our potions and idle systems working more fully so you can fully flesh out your character and survive. Scaling up to approach the ability to test more widely. Down below you can see a screenshot. You got a few people in there. It looks like Sam, Thatch. I can't read the other two, they're too small. But you can see there's some EHG members that are currently in the game playing together in a party. On a whole, we have a vision for a format of Last Epoch multiplayer that can release to wider testing before we're all done adding all the campaign and endgame content. Many of the goals above will bring us there, and some of them will be ongoing for more than this month. The closer some of these features get, the easier it will become for me to give you a harder date on when we shall start opening up for some opt-in testing. In our next update, I will provide a status update on everything I've mentioned above, as well as add new features that we're working towards. I will also answer questions as I can in the replies below. Thank you for taking the time to check out this update, and here's a multiplayer gameplay video to tide you over until next month. Please note that you will find sounds to be a little off in the video. Alright, let's watch it. I mean, damn. That looks fun. That looks fun. That looks good. I didn't see lag. It was early. You could tell they were very early leveling, but come on now. That's just going to make you want it that much more. It looked fun to be able to play with other players. The pace was good. They were all playing different classes, as you could see. I can't wait. Anyways, that's the update that we got. We'll be keeping you informed whenever these come out. It looks like once a month. I'll go ahead and cover them just like this. If there's more that you'd like to see, or have me throw more of my thoughts into it for each paragraph that's put in, just let me know in the comments below. But for now, we're just going to keep it where we read it and just kind of go over what it is we read. Anyways, stay safe, travelers, and have a good day.